Shall we?
We're live on video.
Cool.
Would you please count us in?
3, 2, 1, record.
Welcome to the show, everybody. It's episode 99. Aden Richards, what's happening?
Not much. How are you?
Super amazing. So the mayor of Las Vegas, I'm not sure if you saw this, the mayor of Las Vegas signed or volunteered the residents of their fine city to be guinea pigs in the or they want to be the control group in the COVID-19 what do you want, economic reopening plan. So they would like to just completely and totally go back to business as usual and just see how many people die. What do you want to be in the experiment, the test group or the control group for?
The moment I want to be in the test group of having a puppy. But you may not know this.
Your wife still hasn't signed off on that?
No, she has. That's the problem is you may not know this, but dog adoptions are actually through the roof. Because people are all staying home. In fact, like in DC, dogs are literally like the dogs that are desired. And like there's some things like we had that, like my wife and I want to have kids eventually.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's literally dogs who basically like can't be with kids, like small sort of children. We can't adopt those. But the dogs that don't have any like giant red flags, they're on these websites for like 48 hours before they're adopted. And they basically all go to people who have yards because, I mean, the adoption people, they're smart enough to be like, person in a condo, and my condo is like not like a bad condo. It's like just a 2-unit thing. They're like, we can give it to the city boy, or the dog can go to a person who's got a fenced in backyard. Like, I can't blame them for picking them. So who knows when I get to have a dog?
And are there many fenced in backyards in the DC metro area?
There are, just not in DC specific.
I know.
Yes. Well, there are lots. So yeah, that's on hold. Who knows? But putting a few adoptions. I think I've submitted 5 applications in the last like 72 hours.
Dang.
And yeah.
Well, that's I wish you lots of luck, man. I sincerely hope you get your dog. And
the funny part here is that part of my argument for why I wanted I used for my wife to get an adopted dog earlier, like in the fall or something like that, was that what happens if we run out of puppies? And she was like, yeah, that's never going to happen. And lo and behold, I've been proved right on my least accurate prediction possible. Proved out to be the most or at least I guess. Prediction I was making up but had no chance of being correct turned out to be right. So that's where we are. That's the kind of world we live in.
I'm just picturing Aden years from now throwing this back in her face. Oh yeah? Well, remember when I said we were going to run out of dogs and you said I was crazy? Well,
that one time I was right. You can't disregard any of my statements ever again.
That's right.
No, absolutely. I've already thrown it in her face I've only thrown it in her face like 6 times today, so
don't wear it out, Aden. You might need it.
I'm not real worried about that. I don't have a real wear out. I don't exhaust these things in my mental. Anyways,
all right, continuing. All right, listeners, viewers, you should remember that if you want to get in on our watch parties thread, if you want to know what rewatchables we're rewatching, the way to find out about that would be in our Discord. You can also submit questions that you want to be read live on the show. Live is a strong word for what happens on this show. In any case, questions can also be submitted in our Discord. If you want to join our Discord, the link is at glimpsepod.com. You can find us on Twitter. Aden is at OmegaManDota. I'm at Shark Butler. And we have merch, and that merch supports audio engineer Jason, who is not only a college student, he's a quarantined college student. So just let that sink in for a minute. And then think about buying a t-shirt so that he can have some money. Just a little bit of money to be quarantined with. Probably buy another microphone. Okay, coming up in this episode, we have BTS Pro Series. We've got ESL One Online. This is actual professional Dota that's been happening. It's quite a
recent professional Dota.
Recent professional Dota that's been happening. It's quite a departure from our MO the last couple episodes. We've got the Chinese government stepping in and subsidizing esports. We've got Facebook Gaming making it even easier than ever to stream. But we start, Aden, with what has felt like a funeral of a legend. A legend was PPD. PPD has retired from Pro Dota, and NIP really taking its time to pick up a new squad. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
All right, NIP's already picked up a new squad, but that had very little to do with PPD's retirement. Anyway, let's talk about PPD career notes. He said, today I find myself focused on personal growth rather than competition. I feel like I've lost the grit and ambition necessary to be a competitor, eager to do something amazing and new in my 30s. I've been competing in video games for a long time, and now I'm ready to do something different. So, Aden, what are you going to remember PPD for?
I'm going to remember PPD for three things. Obviously, for his TI winning TI, being a TI winning captain, and I guess discovering Sumail and that whole era, the 2014 to 2016 EG run, where they finished third, first, and third, right, at TI.
Those 3 TIs, yes, that's right.
Those 3 TIs, and they won DAC in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty amazing run. The second thing I'll probably remember for him is his salty demeanor. You could even say maybe more than that, his willingness to be an asshole to pursue his own team's interest. And I think it took me a while to realize that I don't think he actually believes the things he was saying necessarily. He just thinks it's his job to advocate even for his team, use his power to further his team's goal, regardless of maybe fairness necessarily. Would you agree with that to some extent?
Yeah, when he was acting in his capacity as captain, he was not acting in the best interest of the esport of Dota. He was acting in the best interest of his team and his team only. And that was kind of cool to see it so transparent, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard for me to. I mean, it's kind of funny because we always as a coach, you always be like, no, you're supposed to do. I play frisbee. Frisbee's all about the opposite of that, right?
Yeah, the spirit of the game.
Yeah, the spirit of the game. So I found that a little frustrating. But who knows? I hope he gets a comeuppance. What was it Belichick was complaining about this past year about somebody using a move that he pointed out a loophole in the rules and then someone used it against him. Yeah, love it. So did I say 3 things? Maybe it's just 2 things. Probably just those 2 things.
Cool. Yeah, I had very similar things written down. Winning DAC 2015, other than, of course, and we have a lot of America-centric takes on this show. We just can't help it. I saw a very America-centric take in our Discord, actually. I'm not going to name the person, but they were like, the captain who brought the Aegis back home. It's like, yeah, that is true. I was not an EG fan at TI5, but you couldn't help but feel a little bit of pride, in this sport dominated by, frankly, China and Europe. To see an American team win was surprising, refreshing.
Sure.
It was nice.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because we never win at anything, dude. Just watch the Olympics.
Right. Question.
Yeah.
So PPD retired once before.
Yeah.
He came back. He played 3.5 more years. 2.5 more years of Dota after that. What do you think the odds are that he plays professional Dota again? Not just in a comeback team, but actually seriously.
I have it very low, less than 10%. I could see him in a big god sort of situation, trying to get some exposure for a new player, playing a LAN to earn some money for charity. It'd be hard for me to imagine his 3rd run at actual competitive Dota, especially considering that this run never had any a single one of the highs that you would want. Not a single grand finals appearance, am I right?
I think not so. I mean, Optic
Oh yeah.
Optic did a couple good things. NIP had a 4th place major finish, but no grand final.
Right,
I mean,
mind
that's the
control.
highlights. Yeah, with mind control. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think this is different. Like at the end of the TI6, he was burnt out.
Yeah.
And this point, I would, burnt out with success. Plus, there were, I don't know, suggestions maybe that RTZ didn't want to play with him, and so like something had to give.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other part of his commentary really rings true for me. I mean, Aden, we're both dudes in our, dare I say it, mid-30s now, and priorities change. Like your values change. Just what you want to do with your day in, day out schedule changes as you age like this. And I mean, what was your ideal day like at age 24 versus now?
At age 24, my ideal day involved a lot more like physical activity. Not that I don't want physical activity now, but man, I like to like at age 24, I was like during the summer, I was doing 2-a-days.
Yeah, right. 6 hours of Frisbee and then 6 hours of video games, as opposed to just 6 hours of video games.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, cool. Well, and I caught this. A lot of people are going to have seen this clip because it went around, but I think it was Betway Esports tweeted a clip of him at TI6 where Day 9 is hosting the panel, and Day 9's like, PPD, did you ever think that you would rise to the level where you are on a TI panel? And PPD just like looks him up and down for a second. He's like, did you?
I mean, like that's the thing is he actually is a funny, self-aware guy.
Yeah.
It's just that like his most public moments are when he's being an asshole to like further his team. And if that's all you see of him, like which is like that was my first introduction to PPD, I was like, man, what a freaking prick. But I mean he's putting on an act there,
Yeah. Well, and that's why actually TI7 panel PPD was my favorite version of PPD, because sure, he was still being kind of a heel like in pro wrestling, but he was being a heel for the sake of the show, not to like advance a cause. And so like when it's for the sake of the show, like he's having fun and everybody around him is having fun too. I thought it was just like so much fun to watch him. All right, moving on.
Move on.
Okay, ESL One Los Angeles, and I would have to say the most entertaining region of that tournament, probably South America.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to say.
Okay, no, I'm messing with you because your boys Virtus Pro narrowly lost to OG. Wait, hold on. Am I reading this right? Virtus Pro won the CIS in Europe, ESL One LA.
They won a tournament.
Tournament is a strong word for what this was, Aden. They won a.
Okay, hold on. Oh. Is this more or less impressive than winning a minor?
More, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I mean, like it's probably it's less impressive than probably winning a non-DAC or not, a non-DAC like ESL Birmingham. It's less impressive then, but this is not nothing. This is a real win. But anyways, continue.
No, that was all I had to say. I just wanted to give you some grief. I'm super proud of your team / my team who didn't earn me any DPC points for this. Virtus Pro.
My team earned me any DPC?
No, but they're just your favorite team, dude.
Oh, no, that's true. Yeah, so it was interesting to see. This whole tournament was sort of, so first of all, I mean, this was the region we focused on because it had the most teams, right? Mm-hmm. The other regions. It also, I actually think this mattered is that like it happened, all the other regions went immediately after like everything, self-quarantine started everywhere.
Right.
I just like felt like it was like my brain was not wrapped around Dota. And then this one like comes out and it's like the only region being played at this time. And I felt like it was like a way easier to focus on it. But anyways, yeah, VP did really well. I mean, we're talking with a caveat in that they took them 5 games to beat OG in the grand finals. But overall 21-5 map wins. They what was I gonna say? No one is back. I remember I am a no one critic. Now to be fair, he had a matchup that you would argue is charitable in the grand finals and in the upper bracket finals when you're up against someone with against 33 a non-mid player. But nonetheless, he's back. And then ILTW, though his team won, was not as impressive. He's their big pickup, which I, again, am shocked it took them this long to pick them up. For those of you who don't know why that's the case, ILTW was the hand-picked guy to play with the Roger Ramses solo 9 Pasha Russia stack for WESG, right? He was their guy. He was the Russian guy they wanted as their second core.
To play carry, yeah.
Play carry. No, well, I think he played mid because Ramses was playing because he was replacing no one at that time.
Sure.
So it was shocking, and he's also like a renowned guy. I mean, like he's clearly an
he had with OG. We think of him as a pretty high level player who just hasn't found a home yet.
Right, and so like the fact that they went for the, I mean, I would have expected him to be their first choice, but they went with EpiKid,
right?
And that didn't work out. And you can sort of understand it. Maybe you're thinking like EpiKid has a higher potential. Sure. And then they went with Kuman, and I wonder if that was just they would try to get GPK, which also totally understandable. GPK has probably got a higher potential than LTW. Yeah. And they maybe picked up Kuman because they have contract issues, but like it just felt like ILTW was like inevitably going to end up on this team.
Mm-hmm.
And the team is that much better for it. Now his stats weren't great. 6.42 kills and 2.5 deaths per game. Deaths are fine. The kills are a little weak there. And I guess the real question.
Well, and that's on a team that's getting 16 kills for every 10 deaths. So I mean, they're very favorable kill to death ratio.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they're a good team. And I mean, the real question is, can he carry the team? If no one doesn't go off, can ILTW carry the team? I guess the other question is, does it matter if Resolution is playing as well as he is, and Zayak is? Okay. Question: Zayak is good. Is he that good, or is he just a massive advantage because he plays fucking techies and Enigma, and makes you have to deal with that shit? Like, he's one of those players like GH where you just have to ban the IO no matter fucking what, and it drives you nuts because you don't want to have to deal with banning an IO, right? I feel like that's almost more of what I see in
Well, and I mean, question is that so? What level of talent do you have to get to eclipse the value of just having 2 or 3 extremely ban-worthy heroes? Like, you don't have to be as good as Yapzor, but I mean, you have to be pretty darn close to that good before the value of the bans outstrips the value of the player's talent.
Yeah, but I mean, it matters a little bit.
Yeah,
it matters a little bit. And by the way, he has 37 games this month. And by the way, he played Techies and Enigma 10 of those 37 games. So fully 25% of his games, he's playing a jungle Enigma or a Techies, and both of those are sort of like game. I don't know, like the term game change is like way overused, but they change the way you think about that game as the other team when you realize the other team has a Techies or as a jungler, right? It completely alters how you play that or are planning on playing that game. So I think that's really valuable. And then, of course, again, I mentioned Resolution was out of his mind a couple times, especially on that axe. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to go overboard and say VP is a tier 1 team because I don't think they've demonstrated that. But this has clearly vaulted them into the, they're not going to be a favorite for the next big tournament, but they are going to be a team that you consider has a chance at beating every other good team.
Yeah.
Right?
If we were going to have 3 more majors, you would say there's a 40% chance they get a top 4 in there?
Yeah, about that.
But we're going to have 1 more major, and so there's a...
I mean, that's optimistic.
Chance. Yeah, maybe 1 more major.
Maybe one more major.
Yeah. So, a 13% chance that they get a top 4?
Sure.
Just guessing. All right, let's talk about this team that came in second place at this tournament. That team is OG. OG playing without mid one, playing with Seb in his place. Seb decently a decent offlaner.
Yeah, he's won a tournament or 2 at that position.
A somewhat high profile tournament, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
and playing with 33 in the mid.
Yep.
What did you see from OG?
All right, so I want to ask, like, again, there's only so much you can say about this team. Sumail died too much, but he's playing from North America with over 100 ping. So, like, I mean, what are you going to do about that? Here is a legitimate question. I actually think this might be one of the most impressive performances of a team to play with two stand-ins, one of whom is playing out of position, and a carry player who's playing with the substantial ping, and yet to come in second here and nearly beat VP in the finals. I think that's incredibly impressive.
Well, not to mention beating Secret 2-0. Yeah. Secret, who had their full 5 stack, and I believe were, if not co-located, they were at least like all in the same time zone.
Yeah. So right. So my big question here is that this is just another example of No Tail and Seb being brilliant strategists and captains, right? So I have a question.
Yeah.
And this is like almost a bigger question than just this. But this is just it brought it to mind here. If No Tail is such a brilliant captain and strategist, I mean, as we saw last two TIs, they crushed. They played differently. He came up with ideas, like that. Why didn't they do better at TI the 2 previous years before that? I'm really curious. Like, I mean, is it that Seb is really the backbone that they need for this? I'm really curious because I mean, we talk about like what is the best. You can't claim that the last 2 TI winning teams were. I guess you could claim it, but were the last 2 TI winning teams that much more talented? But this team's not that much more talented than like the Miracle and the first ANA TI teams, right?
Right. There's
no way you can consider this team that they had, given its limitations, more talented. So why were they? I don't know. It's just a really interesting question to think about.
Okay, question for you: do you happen to know how old No Tail and Seb are?
I want to say No Tail is 24, 25.
He's 26.
I want to say Seb is a little older, so 27 or 28.
Yep, he's 26 and Seb is 27. And so my theory on this is that these guys, first of all, these guys just had a lot to learn. Like, how much did you know about communication and leadership when you were 26? I'll volunteer that I knew very little. And like the amount I know now has all been studied since that time. Not to mention, do you know at what age the brain becomes fully developed?
Around 25 is usually the
around 25, and that's why it costs less to rent a car when you're 25 years old. By the way, I thought that was bullshit until I started driving after age 25, and I was like, holy cow, I am way more cautious now than I used to be. You don't feel reckless when you're a kid, but I think you can feel the improvements that you've made in your thinking, in your judgment a little bit more as an adult. So I think these guys have grown up. These guys have learned a lot, and they've had world-class resources at their disposal to teach them how to do this stuff. So I think, and clearly they were high-ceiling, talented individuals to begin with.
Sure. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, I don't disagree with any of that. I mean, one of my favorite things I tell my students is like, you guys think that you're like smart and mature right now, but let me tell you, every 5 years, I think about like 5 years ago, like, man, what would 29-year-old Aden have done in this situation? Man, he was a fucking idiot. Yeah. When I was 29, I was thinking, man, what would 24-year-old Aden have done in this instance? Man, he was a dumbass. Hopefully eventually that stops, but who knows? I'm not that optimistic.
95-year-old Aden's like, what would 90-year-old Aden have done here?
95-year-old Aden is going to be like, bleh.
Yeah, right.
that or a brain in a jar. I can only hope.
We could all hope. But yeah, so No Tail and Seb, pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good stuff. But but there's something even a little more about them, because I mean, guys like Puppy, he's around the same age as Seb, a year or two older, in fact. So what do they have that Puppy doesn't? And I do think there's something that it's tough to describe in words, but being able to bend the laws of reality to meet the story that you're telling in your booth, and they do that better than anybody.
It's true.
Not letting reality creep in to disrupt the nice story that's going on.
Sure, totally.
All right, let's move on.
I had 2 very quick ones.
Yeah.
I didn't watch any of Secret's games, and they got 2-0'd by OG. I actually kind of thought I was going to get to see them play VP, so I was like, I don't need to watch that OG game. It'll be fine. And then I didn't get a chance to watch Secret. Should we be worried?
No, they played fine. Not great.
Okay.
I I don't
This
have
was
an
actually
explanation for why they lost to Chicken
no,
Fighters or to
no, no.
Viking.gg.
Oh, actually, I did watch a tiny bit of that game.
Okay.
Just tiny bit. I came away with nothing. Liquid. This was actually mentioned in our Discord. Someone mentioned, "Man, Liquid don't look good right now." And I just want to respond to that. I don't know if you have a response. My response is, how many fucking times did I think that this 5 stack, they weren't Liquid at the time, didn't look good right now, and then they would turn around and finish like tied for 5th or tied for 7th at a major on a LAN. So I am going to stand on the. I'm going to stake out on the don't sleep on Liquid Island because I slept on them way too many times and got burned. So your mileage
eyelids propped open.
Your mileage may vary. This is the standard. Your mileage may vary situation.
Yeah.
If you want to say that if you want to, sleep on them, go ahead. You might even be right, but I will be holding the flag of Liquid will be fine until I absolutely am like proven wrong.
Right. I don't believe in every aspect of this Liquid team, but I believe in two things. I believe in Mickey, who is an immense talent. I also believe in Blitz, and I believe that without Blitz, all results should be discounted. And it's hard for me to imagine that Blitz is having too big of a hand in events like this one that don't matter.
True. And especially since he's casting from LA.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So if you see Team Liquid in an event that matters with Blitz heavily involved and they fail, that's when to be worried, in my opinion.
Sure.
All right. Europe and CIS, are we wrapped up?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Good stuff. By the way, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No. China, right. Southeast Asia.
Let's start a little Southeast Asia. I'm going to be totally honest with you, Lorton. I didn't watch any of this Southeast Asia Dota. Haven't done it. Don't feel bad about it. The sleep. Here's the actual thing: is normally when I watch Southeast Asia Dota is like at like 6:30 when I'm like eating breakfast, go to work, and it turns out in self quarantine I don't get up till like 8:15. And guess what? Southeast Asia Dota is over at that point. Anyway, at that point I'm already tuning into CIS Dota. Point of interest. That's my point here. Fnatic is killing it. They won ESL Online, although that was a small tournament, so whatever. And they are currently crushing the BTS Pro Series. Are they, I put this delicately, are they a region wonder?
What does that mean?
Like, that means that they are great in their region and not as great against other regions. At what point do we start considering them? Because again, I, among other people, had high hopes for this Fnatic roster.
Yeah.
Are they a regional wonder?
I mean, as of today, yes. They've done absolutely jack squat in international play, but they've qualified for every event. What other criteria would a team need to meet to be a regional wonder?
I mean, I guess doing it for long enough. I guess this is the threshold of repeat. How many times does it repeat before you?
I mean, we're at 60% of the season, aren't we? And for 100% of the season to date, they've been a regional wonder.
Fair enough. I'm with you.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a real disappointment for them. Second big question here,
and it's not over. I think that maybe playing some intra-regional, especially that LGD international team gets in the mix, and they continue to stomp those guys. Perhaps they gain a little bit of confidence from that.
Is LGD International going to play in Southeast Asia?
Yes.
Oh man, I missed that somehow. I'm a moron.
I had to look it up. It's a single phrase on their Wikipedia
Have they played a game yet?
Not to my knowledge.
No, okay, all right. If I saw who they played, I'd probably figure it out. I feel less bad. Adroit. We thought they were going to be a one-hit wonder, and then they sort of.
Yeah, I've been out on Adroit for so many months, and they just keep coming back, man.
Yeah, they finished second in the ESL, in the small ESL. I mean, I don't even know why I mentioned it. It was a 4-team tournament. They qualified for ESL, which is their second major, and they are currently second in the BTS Pro Series. Like, what are your odds on them? God, it's hard to say because we don't know how there's going to be another major. But if Fnatic and TNC qualify, are they both going to qualify directly right now?
I'm looking that up to make sure.
TNC obviously, yeah.
Yeah,
Fnatic is
currently in.
Although I think it's plausible that they will nix the top 12 thing and only go like top 8 or something like that.
Yeah, it could very well be.
But anyway, at the moment, they're both in. Adroit, what are their chances of winning the Southeast Asia qualifier?
So, I mean, they get better by the day, right? How long does Geek Fam have to go before we completely check out and consider them toast?
Considering their DPC points, Geek Fam is exactly 1.2 points behind Adroit, 210 to 208.8.
Oh, right. I mean, right. And compared to their expectations, I mean, Geek Fam is trash and Adroit is gold. You know, granted, our expectations for both were not amazing, but Geek Fam has certainly disappointed. And Adroit it's tough to tell whether they're improving. I mean, what's the bar? Not enough action going on to know whether they're improving, but see Geek Fam improving.
Sure.
And I do consider them their biggest competition.
Sure. All right. Here's a second question. So Boombax is he's been around for a while. He's 27-year-old. He's their captain and one of their supports. What are the odds that one of these other guys, they are, I couldn't find the age of their offlaner, but their two cores, Natsumi and Mac, are 18 and 21. Mm-hmm. They are Filipino. What are the odds that one of them's like this? We've seen this happen before, right? When Clutch Gaming had Gabby and Armel. What are the odds that Natsumi or Mac is on TNC in the next 2 years?
I mean, 99.8%, right?
I mean, it sort of depends on Gabby. I mean, it's a little bit on Gabby and Armel, right? But like, it's not like Gabby and Armel are really good.
I'm putting it a little too high because it does depend on them, and it depends on these players, Natsumi and Mac, continuing to develop. But yes, I like where your head's at, Aden.
Yeah. Yeah. So that I feel like maybe that, like, if you had put the odds on Adroit fades away or Adroit's best players get picked up and the team falls apart, which is a more likely outcome for this group, I feel like it's now become the latter.
Agreed.
They fall apart.
Yeah.
That's the point we reached.
Yeah, which I mean, certainly the former seemed more likely at the start of the season.
Yeah.
China?
All right, so China's had a bunch of tournaments. Some of them seem to care more about than others. ESL Online, the Pro League, RNG won. In DPL Season 1, LGD finished first, Vici second, IG third, RNG fourth. In DPL Season 2, RNG is currently winning that tournament. I don't remember who's second, and I'm not sure we care. It's only part of the way in. It is RNG, IG, LGD, Vici. So it's those same top four teams.
Sure.
There's been they have a couple other smaller tournaments, like I'm trying to remember what they're called, like CDA or something like that, where there's some really weird results going on. And I don't really know what these different tournaments mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So CDA Season 1, Sparking Arrow Gaming won that. Or
Congrats
won the round.
To Sparking Arrow Gaming.
Yes.
Well deserved.
But the hell, right? I mean, it's a little bit like weird, right? So I'm like, it sort of, that seems so I'm basing off the DPL ESL. It seems like RNG have they become a clear fourth there? I mean, it's starting to feel that way. Monet is rocking. He had he led in all the ESL online things. He had the top KDA, I believe, among guys who didn't play like one game as a stand-in.
Well, you want to talk about potential for region wonder. Surely this RNG team is right up there. Keen Gaming 2.0, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I like to start. I mean, I feel like this interesting with RNG team is that we liked the RNG team when it first formed.
Yeah.
And it never lived up to potential. And then we finally forgot about them. And woo, hello. Hello, governor.
Wow. How Aiden's been cooped up in his house too long?
Dude, it's bad. It's bad. Like it was fine for like a month or like 3 weeks, and then like the last week has been like it's been tough.
It's been hello sailor jokes about RNG the whole time.
Yeah. Anyways, I like Monet. It's good to see this. I like to see them solidifying themselves. Yeah, but we'll see. Who knows what's going to happen there. The real big thing there, and we'll talk about this a little more later, is Chalice has moved to position 1 for LGD. Yes. And 11, and they picked up 11 as their offlaner. That means that Ame is gone, and which we already knew, and then ASD, who stood in for a while, is gone. Mm-hmm. So initial reports from some of our listeners who pay attention to China more were that Chalice looked good. I will say that I have watched limited, if at all, more towards the if at all side of this. But I did notice that he has only a 4.7 KDA over the last month, which is probably not ideal for a carry.
Low for a top tier carry. That's low for
sure. Top tier. And then I looked at his most played heroes. His most played heroes this past month are Nature's Prophet and DK, and Tide. And then there's a bunch tied after that, and one of them is DP, Death Prophet. He's also played things like carry, like position. I mean, it's not in position 1 anymore. It's like safe lane Mars, stuff like that. Which sort of makes sense if he's. I mean, he's also played like things like Terrorblade, so we know he can play like these like position these big cores, like no shots. But it does. I mean, I guess I'm of two minds about this. On the one hand, flexibility is awesome, and it's great to be able to, especially like who knows what the meta is going to be able to roll out and be like, yeah, we're going to have a DP safe lane and like a Shadow Fiend mid, and we're going to roll at you at 20 minutes and barrel down lanes. It also though. Like, are they going to feel comfortable relying on him to win them games? And I feel like that's shown less in performance, although a little bit in performance, but also in what heroes you pick for him. If you pick a carry Terrorblade, what you're saying is, we want you to win this game for us.
Do you know who this reminds me of?
No.
Business Associates, bro.
Oh, fair.
Yeah, like Moo is your position 1, like playing position 1 Timbersaw. It's really cool when it works. And similarly, like you said, how much pressure are you putting on the other core player? In this case, maybe. And when I think of maybe heroes, I don't think of him necessarily carrying from the mid. I think of him creating a lot of disruption in space, like with a Storm Spirit. And I mean, granted, late enough in the game, Storm Spirit is a huge damage dealer. I still don't think of maybe as carrying from the mid.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. We'll see. I think maybe is the kind of player who I would be like, if I had to put my fate in the player's hand, maybe, or Somnus, so if you want to call him, is like certainly someone I would consider. Like, I mean, he's up there with like, I mean, who else? Abed, Eurus, Miracle, Nisha. Like, there's the kind of guys, right? Right. He's on the list. He's 100% on the list. So it's not like out of the question. Yep. But
only player to make first team all DPC 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's an interesting question. Yeah, so like to see more from Chalice, and I have more to say about 11 in an upcoming segment.
Sure. All right, North America, South America. Just for quick notes on them.
Let's do it. Hit it. Okay,
right. You go. You want to go?
Sure. ESL One Online. EG Quincy Crew. Crazy. Who's Crazy, Aden?
Crazy is Crazy is the team that EE left. EE and Snake King left to go to C9 with her. So it's like, oh god, Moon Meander's on that team.
Yep.
Hang on. I bet you I can name 3.
I'm so impressed that you try to do this off the top of your head. My fear of embarrassment, I guess, is too high.
Is Bryle on the team?
Yes, Bryle is the 2 position.
Bryle, okay, I'm in. He's mid. Bryle, is Moose on the team still?
No, he's Business Associates.
He's Business Associates. Crap. I should know that one.
German offlaner.
Skeeter Kezu's on the team. Yeah. Yep. Kezu is now on the team. He's the one who replaced Snaking.
Yep. And you're right that Skeeter is the
Skeeter's the carry. Yeah. Couldn't remember for Skeeter's. Yeah. So they're doing well. We really thought this was the team that was good. I mean, this is the team that was flying pandas, by the way, if you weren't or fighting pandas, not flying pandas.
Panda Associates.
Associates. But yeah, they've clearly established themselves as. I mean, I think EG is playing with 2 stand-ins for Ramses and Abed, and that's a pretty significant change, right? I mean, safe to say.
Yes.
So everything that happens with them is totally. We're not gonna no reason to evaluate any of it. But I think what's clear is that Quincy Crew and Crazy have established a big gap between them and Business Associates.
It does feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Quincy. I think is currently Quincy and Crazy were 1-2 and are also like 1-2 in the BTS Pro Series.
That's right.
For North America.
Yeah, Business Associates 4th
or
again.
Americas, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're 4th, and it's not even like a good 4th because they're mostly ahead of. So it's unclear to me. I haven't watched enough of this to know what server they're playing on, but the South American teams are not doing so hot. So I wonder if they're making them play on North American servers.
I'll bet you it's all on US West.
Yeah, probably. So, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, so yeah, speaking of South America, Beast Coast takes ESL One LA online. Meanwhile, on the BTS side, Beast Coast can't do anything at all. Haven't won a single game. 0-12.
Yeah. Yeah, so they won the ESL One thing, although not super convincingly. I guess in the finals they did well. But yeah, they've been getting wrecked in the BTS Americas. I don't know. It's hard for me to evaluate. That team is.
They have a lot less to play for than everybody else, it seems.
I mean, except for maybe like EG.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to evaluate. It's hard to take them. Know how serious. On the other hand, if I'm them, like with an uncertain future, I don't know. Maybe I would personally try harder, but who knows?
Well, and who knows if they're trying or if they have circumstances. Like I was reading that Thunder Predator, is having to forfeit matches because their internet is going out. So who knows how reliable, who knows if there are like infrastructure challenges that they're dealing with, other things like that.
Sure. Anything else on them?
Nah, let's keep it moving.
Let's keep moving. All right.
I'm going to quickly remind our listeners that The Glimpse is brought to you by OutdoorGamingPCs.com. Oh yeah, Aiden. It's spring. It's warming up out there. And got to talk about the reality of being an outdoor gamer. It's sunny. Sometimes your neighbor's sunbathing. You get glare from a pool. Get bitten by mosquitoes. Your children are trying to get your attention. Dad, Daddy, Papa. Airplanes, helicopters overhead. The grass needs to be cut. The leaves need to be raked. All this stuff is happening at my house, by the way. The snow needs to be blown. Yes, grass needs to be cut and snow needs to be blown in the same week. There are distractions everywhere, Aiden, and they're affecting your MMR. So to help you focus, OutdoorGamingPCs.com is introducing the Hood of Avernus, the first and only gaming hood to keep you 100% focused on the game. Inspired by photographers from the 1920s, the stylish hood attaches to your monitor, drapes right over your head, blocking out visual distractions from the left, from the right, and overhead. No more lost MMR because of the obnoxious neighbor kid shining light in your eyes with a handheld mirror. You're going to stay focused on the game without having to compromise your identity as an outdoor gamer. You can get the Hood of Avernus in classic black, or show the neighborhood how much you love your team by getting Hood of Avernus official licensed merch with your team's logo. So head up OutdoorGamingPCs.com/glimpse to get your Hood of Avernus today. And while you're at it, pick up an OutdoorGamingPCs.com t-shirt. Audio engineer Jason thanks you.
Can I give a little breaking news?
What is that?
It's actually about an hour old, but Beast Coast's manager tweeted, "Online tournaments are awful. Please bring back the real Dota 2 season."
Thank you, Gwashi.
There we go. So that's the news. All right.
That's the news indeed. All right, Aiden. You made up a game, and I believe the game, am I reading this correctly? It's called Roster Shit?
Sure. Why not? I'm not good at titles. I'm good at well, actually, okay. I'll take credit for the blaming acclaim game titles.
That was good.
That was good. But so this game, it's really simple. We have 6 roster changes, things that happened, and we wanted to predict where they're going to end up, assuming that there's a TI. So basically, what has happened for them at the end of the season. So we decided to go weirdly specific with this. That was Lorton's part of the idea. Thank you, Lorton. So we made up weirdly specific. I will say mine are not funny specific. Mine are just specific. Lorton's time hopefully will be funny and specific. Predictions for each of them.
Expectations lower, Aden.
And then we are going to essentially agree on what the average outcome of our 2 predictions are for each of these teams.
All right.
And then basically whoever had the higher prediction is taking the over. Whoever's got the lower prediction is taking the under. And we're going to basically essentially bet on that. So you want to start off, why don't you pick a team? Pick who you're confident in, Lorton.
Confident? Oh, okay. I'm confident. No, we can't open with VP Prodigy. Let's talk about LGD International.
Okay.
All right. So Aden, the original LGD International were just like a little before your time because they were in the run up to TI3.
You know what I know about LTG International? Can I just say that? All I know about LGD International is their fucking sick intro package.
With the 1437 punching.
Yeah, and Misery Pycat Black, or not Black, Misery Pycat G. G looking uncomfortable like he does in every situation.
Yes. Right, and 1437 putting on the rare intimidating face.
And what is it? Pycat who just does that? Does a little finger gun, guns.
Finger guns.
Give me those finger guns.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue. I'm sorry. I don't have to.
Well, all right. So, like I said, LGD International was a little bit before your time. One of the biggest non-TI events was the China G League at the end of 2012, where there was a 2-month break in between the end of the league and then the grand finals, which were held in a basketball arena in Shanghai with like 20,000 people there. And it was LGD International versus TI2 champions IG in that grand final. And this was in between the end of the league and the grand finals. A new patch dropped with the Keeper the Light PL Cancer Lancer meta. And so these teams had not played a single competitive game since the patch had been out, even though the patch had been out for weeks and everybody knew about the Cancer Lancer. Anyway, LGD International thought they could beat the Cancer Lancer, and they could not. IG handled them in that series, but I went into that TI3 thinking LGD International were a top 5 team, and they were a formidable team for a few minutes. They fell short at TI3, and they lost to 2 young Han players who you might remember as Fly and No Tail, who were playing for Fnatic at the time. Black, who's on the new LGD International, his most recent Southeast Asia squad, Team Faceless, went deep in a couple of tournaments, and you know who they lost to? Fly and No Tail.
Okay.
Just like Team Faceless, LGD International is not going to qualify for TI, and so Black will never get revenge on Fly or No Tail. That's my prediction.
Where are they going to finish in SCA?
6th.
Okay. My prediction is that they finish 2nd in Southeast Asia, missing out on TI. This is assuming that Fnatic and TNC both qualify directly, which they will. Allegations are made after the series or after the tournament that Nakashimi, the carry for Adroit, upper decked their toilets in their hotel, and that kept Black up all night, and that's why they lost.
Highly specific. I like it.
Highly specific. But I think our bet's only going to be on where they finish. So you've got 6th place. I've got 2nd place. So let's say over-unders 4. 4th place at in SCA regionals. I actually like yours. I think there's like a 30% chance they don't even make it to TI qualifiers. So
yep.
I like your spot.
Thank you.
I will say I had to just rewrite that one right before you started talking really quickly because I had them as currently finishing. I had them finishing at 5th in the Chinese regional qualifiers, and that was clearly going to be wrong. So over under is 4th in SCA regionals.
Yeah, that's good. All right. I approve. Aden, why don't you pick the next team?
Okay. I've got LGD. They're going to win the Chinese qualifier for TI. That's because RNG, IG, Vici, and Aster are all going to directly qualify. Yep. That's the current situation. This is again, we're assuming a little bit not another manager. At least I am. They're going to win their group at TI, followed by winning winning in the winners bracket in the first round. Then they're going to lose in the winner bracket semis to a team that is captained by a former OG player. Could be any team. Don't know which one.
Okay, sure.
Sorry, maybe not captain. Has a former OG player on it. So we're talking EG, OG still. Who else? Liquid, or sorry, Nigma, or there's one more. Secret.
VP.
So one of the does VP have one? No, not VP. VP doesn't have former OG player on it.
Unless you count Resolution.
Oh, ILTW or LTW. Yeah. All right. So any of those 5 teams. So there's my.
Okay.
They're gonna win, then lose, and then they're gonna lose in the losers bracket to finish tied for 5th.
Okay. Not bad. So you guys know that Aden has gone on record time after time calling 11 the weak link. Called him the weak link on TI7 LGD, TI8 Vici Gaming, TI9 Keen Gaming. So my prediction is that 11 is going to redeem himself fully in Aden's eyes and lead LGD Gaming to win TI10.
Didn't I apologize to 11 for something recently?
I'm never going to remember.
Pretty sure I apologized.
Nah,
I'm pretty sure I apologized to him at some point. So over under is 3rd place at TI.
Yep.
I've got the under, you've got the over.
Yeah, okay. I like where you are.
I do too. All right, we're even on that then.
Yeah, good.
Who's next?
Alliance.
All right, you want to start or me?
Sure. So you guys know, I think, that S4 is back at the helm with Alliance, the team he founded.
Only think that?
What's that?
You only think that?
I don't think.
Before you said I think they're at the helm. What'd you actually say?
Oh, well, I don't know. I think you guys know S4 is back at the helm of Alliance. So Limp and Nico Baby still the cores. Hanskin in the 4 position, and looks like Shibe is temporarily the 5, but a 5 to be named later.
Snaking also did a 5 a little bit.
That's right. Okay, so as you know, S4's most infamous loss was at TI5. My prediction is that S4 is going to encounter the ghosts of Team Secret past. So between the groups in the main event of TI, he's going to lose to No Tail and OG. He's going to lose to Fly and Arteezy on EG. He's going to lose to Kuro on Nigma. And he's going to lose to Puppy and Zai on Team Secret. Alliance will finish tied for 9th.
Well, he's not going to lose to Crazy? Or no, he's not going to lose to Cloud9?
Oh, with Eternal Envy? He never played with Eternal Envy on Secret.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
And no, he's not going to lose to Crazy.
Where did you have them finished at?
9th. Tied for 9th.
All right, that's a bummer. I've got them finished tied for 9th as also. I've got them qualifying for TI because they already have.
Yes.
They're going to struggle in the group stage, but Nico's going to carry them to a 7th place group finish. They're going to win their best of 1, and they're going to lose to finish 9th. Did you have them going winner bracket till drop down, or did you have them going loser bracket?
I went back and forth on that. Never made a decision.
Wuss.
Thank you. All right, Aden. Who's next?
Let's go NIP. So NIP, this is a new NIP, which is also we're chicken fighters.
Yes.
Which, God, if you can name 3 players on that team, I will award you this point, regardless of what the outcome. Do it.
Sorry, I already looked him up.
Okay, all right. It is Charlie in the position 1. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Charlie Dota position 1. Supreme in the mid player. Saberlight at the 3. Era at the 4. Snako at the 5. So some experience there. A little bit in the supports there. I have them finishing 3rd in the EU qualifiers between OG and whoever FADA's new squad is. And yeah, I didn't make any more specific predictions than that.
Yep. We're in a very similar place, although I didn't realize I needed to have a place if they weren't even going to qualify for TI. But yeah, I also have Nigma failing to qualify for TI. So NIP, yeah, NIP will get smashed by Nigma, possibly OG in the EU qualifiers. And NIP will stop sponsoring Dota teams for 2 more years. So you said what place in the qualifiers?
3rd.
3rd. I go 4th.
Okay. 2 left. We got VP and VP Prodigy.
Nice.
All right. I'll do VP Prodigy here. I'm excited about this one.
Okay.
VP Prodigy are going to lose in the open qualifiers for TI, in the first open qual for TI. Then they're going to disband because FN is going to quit on the team before Open Qualifier 2.
Good. It's really solid stuff there, Aden.
Yeah. By the way, I'm making a joke there. I hope they don't actually do that, but like, it's possible.
It's a non-zero chance.
By the way, and again, we should all be supportive of a team that's making a second team. I think the academy teams are good for the coming, especially because VP, 2 of the players on it, Epi Kid and Save, were like picked up by them, and they could have easily been dropped and like bounced around and not had a chance to develop. But yeah. Anyways.
Nice. All right, Aden. When you hear the word prodigy, we're talking about VP Prodigy here. When you hear the word prodigy, what is the first word you associate with prodigy, or what's the first idea you associate with prodigy?
I don't know. I guess my brain, this isn't how I think it would normally happen. My brain immediately went to Mozart.
Mozart, interesting. Yeah, I was thinking of like chess prodigy, like searching for Bobby Fischer is what came to mind for me. Okay, so in the VP Prodigy press release from Virtus Pro, I learned that in Russia, the main association they have with the word prodigy is the electronic music artist Prodigy from the late 90s.
I've never heard this person's music, or maybe I have it or know what it was. Should I be looking at now? Jason, can you get that as our outro? Prodigy.
Yeah. So Prodigy's most famous song, I believe, was "Smack My Bitch Up," and I'm pretty sure that that's what's going to happen to VP Prodigy in the CIS qualifiers. They're going to get smacked around by more experienced pros who are smart enough to ban Phantom Lancer against Epi Kid. 6th in qualifiers.
Not very good music.
No.
Really not. All right. Last up, we have VP, the actual
what place
team.
did you have VP Prodigy getting in qualifiers?
I told you. They weren't getting it. They disbanded before Open Qualifier 2.
DNQ. Okay, I got it.
Got it. What did you say eventually?
I said 6th.
Okay. In the regional?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Actual VP.
We'll put the over-under at making the regional qualifier.
Yes.
Fair. They make the regional qualifier, you win. Our actual VP. They're going to beat Navi in the finals of the CIS qualifier, come into TI hot. They're going to narrowly escape a 4th place group finish via tiebreakers, but immediately get knocked to the lower bracket where they win 1, then lose 1 to finish tied for 7th.
Wow. Seems... Oh, you know what? Actually, I have the very same prediction, but for a very different reason.
Go for it. Let's hear it.
All right. Pop quiz, Aden. Since Solo became captain, which team has knocked VP out of the most majors?
I mean, it's got to be a team that's doing well. So, I mean, if I had to guess, it would be... I mean, it's got to be an LGD or like the Nigma, formerly Liquid stack type of thing, maybe. I don't know.
You're on the right track. So LGD has knocked them out twice. EG knocked them out 3 times. But the right answer, you said it. Team Liquid has knocked VP out of 4 majors since Solo started playing for VP.
Again, now, by Team Liquid, you mean Nigma.
I mean the old team. I mean the old Team Liquid. But I'm predicting that it will be the new Team Liquid that knocks them out. This is a franchise level curse. In an unfortunate case of overlapping deja vu, Resolution is going to repeat his famous performance at TI7, where he showed up at a big way on the main stage and then ultimately lost to Team Liquid, finishing top 8.
Okay. All right. I dig it. All right, Lorton. You got something. Oh, you got another live read?
No, we're done. I'm done with live reads.
All right. Lorton, you picked up something that I didn't even look at before this for our low prio segment. So
okay, I'll introduce it really quickly. The short story is that the Chinese government is subsidizing esports. Oh, but I'll offer you a pop quiz, Aden. According to the Shanghai Esports Association, Shanghai has canceled more than X esports offline events, so like actual live events with a crowd, in the first half of 2020. How many canceled live esports events?
I want to know. What I want to know is what counts as an esports event as opposed to like a local LAN. I feel like that's are we talking like an amateur $500 like tournament? I mean, my assumption is no, but I feel like there's a dividing line there that's like.
I agree. I'm thinking in China you have to have a permit for any such thing.
I'm gonna go with I think it could be anywhere between 5 and 500, but I'm gonna go with 73.
The answer was 500. More than 500 things have been canceled.
Okay. How many of them had a prize pool bigger than $1,000?
Couldn't tell you. Probably very few. However, they estimated the resulting economic losses at X. What is X?
I mean, they're almost surely have overestimated it because that's what you do in this situation.
Of course.
500 events, let's say an average of 10,000 an event. So, and then let's double that. So $10 million.
They estimated it very close, Aiden. $141 million is what they estimated the economic losses.
Sure, whatever. Why not?
In any case, they are Shanghai's pledging full support of the League of Legends World Championship this year. And in the Chinese esports system, the government is normally regarded as an invisible entity. I'm quoting here. But in this case, the relationship becomes interdependent as the authorities look for positive messages to inspire more confidence. So the government knows that esports could become the quote-unquote only sport for the foreseeable future. And so they're heavily subsidizing the esports industry.
And by the way, I mean, this is kind of true. I mean, we know that the VP versus OG had really, really good viewership numbers.
Yeah.
Remarkable, 500K viewers, which for an online final is almost unprecedented. So totally true.
And did you hear President Trump say that he was going to... No, I'm just kidding. President Trump hates video games.
God, what would you do if Trump announced that he was supporting Team Secret for Dota?
Oh, see, I don't mind being a heel or a front runner or anything like that. So it wouldn't bother me. But there are definitely a lot of people I know who reflexively whatever that dude likes, I fucking hate it. So it'd be funny.
It'd be tough for me to root for
laugh.
VP. Although actually, now that I think about it, what are the odds that he would pick a Russian team to root for? Just by random chance.
He would do just thumbing his nose at the camera, man. My good friend Vladimir recommended.
God, he is going to root for VP.
He doesn't even know Dota exists, dude. Don't worry about it.
Shit.
All right. We accidentally talked about politics for a second there. Sorry, fam. Facebook has also announced that there's that Facebook Gaming is taking another step forward. They're trying to make it easier for users to start streaming by adding a Go Live button. So lets people stream as easily as possible. So I have to ask you, Aden, how easy would it have to be for you to consider streaming on Facebook, streaming yourself playing video games?
It would have to be paying me easy to do because
right, probably pretty easy for you to block your students too.
Yeah, I just I have no interest. I mean, if unless there's I have no interest in people watching me play video games.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I guess if there are people I know, in very rare circumstances, it'd be fine.
Right.
I mean, it was kind of cool when I played a game with Suns fan and I realized I was on his stream.
Yeah,
that was kind of easy. But
let's say it was not Dota and you're just discovering a new game, you'd want your friends to be playing with you.
Yeah, but also what is the incentive? It just seems there's no benefit to me for being watched in this.
Yeah.
So negative.
I don't think we're the target demo of this announcement, Aden.
Don't think so at all.
Probably for guys under 30.
All right.
Too soon. All right, we're gonna sign this episode off, I'm pretty sure. So did you know about the situation with Singapore? If you're a Singapore citizen coming home from the United States or England, you had to spend 14 days quarantined in a hotel before the Singaporean authorities would let you come home. And so, as a result of this, two friends who were quarantined in a hotel rooms, they decided to run a marathon in their hotel rooms. They didn't have treadmills. They just ran back and forth in their hotel rooms, hundreds of or maybe thousands of times until they ran An entire 26.2 miles.
Like hundreds, maybe thousands, no, like tens of thousands, wouldn't it be?
I believe you.
Crap.
I don't think these were huge
I just
rooms.
the changing directions. That's like the worst part. I didn't realize. I was going to say at least if they were running like, oh my god. Sorry. Anyways, continue.
Oh, okay. So your question is, what would you do if you had to spend 14 days quarantined in a hotel? While you're thinking about that, I'll remind our listeners that you can join our Discord at glimpsepod.com. You can follow Aden on Twitter at OmegaManDota. You can follow me on Twitter at SharkButler. And we want to thank audio engineer Jason Bates. You can find his portfolio at batesound.com. You can also listen for him on the Michigan Tech. I didn't ask him which Michigan Tech podcast there is. There are so many of them. But Aden, what would you do if you had to spend 14 days quarantined in a hotel?
I mean, the answer is probably not very interesting. I think the most unusual thing I would do is I would probably contact my friends more than I had in the past like year. So combine, like, that's really the answer. There would be a lot of talking. I would be calling you. I mean, it would be weird because I'm in Singapore, and so like the time difference is going to be kind of a pain in the ass. But I'm stuck in a hotel room, so when do I care when I sleep? So yeah, there'd be a lot of like
any calls during this quarantine where you're like, wow, you look at your phone, you're like, wow, I have not heard from this person in a long time.
I haven't got many calls. I've definitely done some like way more like Zoom interaction with some people that I just like, friends of mine who I just don't see as much anymore.
Yeah. I've definitely been that person who's called a couple of people.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
All right.
Sign us off, Aden.
Until next time, this is Aden Richards. Back you go.